Definitely use it.
No.
Oh.
Hi!
Hello. We're never going to get the beginning right.
Well, the 3, 2, 1, it counts down for us. I don't know why I'm saying the 3, 2, 1, like you know what that is. There's like a pause after it, so it's not really 3, 2, 1.
No.
It's like 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, go.
Yeah, it's like 3, 2, 1, and then you're 2 seconds into the recording. So it's 3, and then you begin. Last we checked in, we had a great time off campus.
Is that the last video?
Yeah. We talked about how we were excited how we got all the reagents.
Right, and then we didn't upload that video, so that's below. That hopefully you watched before this.
Yes.
Then we're uploading it 2 days later because we forgot.
I mean, that's how busy the last couple of days were.
Well, also, so the reagents that we were so excited that we got, immediately after that video, we went to test them. And then what happened with that?
Nothing worked.
No.
The ethyl alcohol that we thought we got, we showed you, the poisonous bottle,
Not ethyl alcohol.
it didn't smell like ethyl alcohol at all.
No.
The surgical, Sprite? And
Sprite? Spirit?
Spirit, Sprite. It's 11:15, and believe me, that's late for...
Yeah. We're normally in bed by now.
Yeah. So, we decided, okay, that didn't really work, and we started finding other things to mix the phenolphthalein powder in. Everything from just plain water to acetone.
Smirnoff?
To Smirnoff. Orange-flavored Smirnoff. We got our hands on some of that because it's like 36% alcohol. We're like, all right, we need to make about a 50% solution.
Problem solving.
Nothing worked.
No.
Nothing at all worked. So
we actually tried nail polish remover, acetone, and that dissolved it and still didn't really... All of those things really dissolved the phenolphthalein. We didn't know where the problem was. We were using the scientific method extensively that night, trying to narrow down what it was that wasn't working. Was it the blood? Because we had synthetic blood, but it was old. Webb cut himself and sacrificed himself for
right there
for science.
Right there.
So that we could try real blood and see if that was it.
Yeah.
The synthetic blood was fine.
Yeah, it was just fine.
That was all for naught. The phenolphthalein was fine.
Yep.
The hydrogen peroxide, I mean, should have been fine. So, actually, I guess we never really figured out why it didn't work, did we?
No. But there was a moment of brilliance. and again, very serendipity. I was like, this sucks. Let's, think about this for a second. I'm going to go wash my hands.
Yeah.
And so, again, been dealing with the phenolphthalein in the sink, spraying it and putting it on, and testing it on all the different kinds of samples. I wash my hands, and all of a sudden I see a pink color in the sink. I'm like...
The whole sink, lights up pink. He's like, Caitlin, come look!
Yeah. I'm like, why is it doing this?
Yeah. So we're like, how can we use this?
Yeah.
What's going on?
What's with this soap?
Right.
And what was with the soap?
Well, we don't really actually know.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's sandalwood soap.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the wood is reacting with... I was like, well, some wood acts as a false... But that's for Blue Star and luminol. Is that for phenolphthalein too? I don't know. I don't know what's in it, but it worked.
Yeah.
And then we were like, well, okay, awesome, but how are we going to use that to our advantage? So the geniuses that we were like, well, let's trick the kids, basically.
Yeah.
Essentially, we need them to learn the lesson, but we don't have anything that works. So we for the hydrogen peroxides, we split them up. And the samples that were supposed to actually be negative, we gave them real hydrogen peroxide since it wasn't working anyway.
Yeah.
And then for the samples that were supposed to be positive, we, instead of putting hydrogen peroxide in them, we put sandalwood soap.
Yeah.
In water.
Soapy water.
Yeah. In the solution so that it would turn it pink. Because we're geniuses.
Some of the kids were like, well, this hydrogen peroxide's a little...
darker.
Yeah,
cloudy.
hazy.
Yeah. And I was like, don't worry, I tested them before we started. It's fine, don't worry.
Oh. And it was The whole time we're like, I hope this works.
It was
I hope
awful.
this works. And you know what? Kids kind of went on this ride with us, and they believed us.
Yeah.
It was great.
And then we had the moment of panic when we realized, well, for the blood, the setup that we did was fine.
Yeah.
But like, what about for false positives? It needs to turn pink before you get to the H2O2 step. So, crap. What are we gonna do now? So we poured a little bit of the soapy water into the into the water that they were washing when they used the double swab technique, so that there would be already soap on the swab when they did the phenol. Geniuses.
These kids don't even know. They just
how much we tricked them.
they got pumped so hard, and they got something out of it. And we, at the end of the day, we were like, you know what, the end justifies the means.
Yeah.
It's like, that's, the whole point is for them to learn, and it was a real moment of problem solving. And I feel like we can't explain it to somebody who hasn't studied serology for them to really appreciate what we did.
It is ridiculous, and it was like at least a 5-hour venture into the scientific method on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And then during the day, we had no spare time. We didn't go to lunch. Every second of that time we were spent making dilutions and preparing all of this. By the time the day was over, it was just like...
We're done.
Amazing.
That was it. And and then the day after is today?
Today.
Okay, today. That's how long it is. Well, also, it didn't help that we took a nap, and I'm all...
Yeah.
Okay. And then today was also pretty good. It was really the victory, and then today was the rewards, because we didn't have to teach much at all today.
Yeah.
We assigned kids some famous cases. They had a really interesting time at the very least. Yeah. I talked to them today about the presentation. They did a little bit of research. And I said, so does anybody... The whole point is, like, you should be excited about these cases. I asked them, I was like, is there anyone who didn't like their case or didn't see something amazing or something gruesome and violent? And I was like, nope, we all did. So hopefully they're excited and they're going to present tomorrow morning.
They had computer lab time.
Yeah.
So, because we don't have computers. So they had 2.5 hours to do research. Yeah. And then we talked about DNA.
Yes.
Well, we didn't talk about
we
DNA.
Didn't.
We let our we let our TAs. We wanted to give them an opportunity to teach whether they are, because neither of them have experience with it, and I think it's important for them to kind of get that opportunity, especially here when it's well into the time that we've spent teaching. They've gotten to watch us do it the whole time. It's a really good opportunity for them. So we figured we'd let them do DNA, even though that's our favorite thing to talk about. Yeah. Just because they both have biology backgrounds. They don't have forensics backgrounds.
Yeah.
And so my Divya did amazing. She did a fantastic job. She answered questions well. We had a very much like conversational feel to the whole thing. So like I could chime in at any time and it was fine. And we ended up talking to the kids for 3 hours straight about DNA, and they did not want to break. They didn't want anything. It was everything I could have hoped for how much because I've been talking up DNA the whole time, and now it's awesome.
Mine went a little differently. Here's the thing. Well, first of all, the wrong PowerPoint was put on the flash drive, and so my TA had to work with a more bare bones version. It was a little disjointed. Some slides should have been in other places, and again, that's kind of my fault. But here's the thing: the show must go on, right? I've had to work with PowerPoints that I didn't edit. I had to work with PowerPoints that
didn't exist.
So I had to literally draw everything out on the whiteboard as you guys know. So it was like, this is a good lesson in when things don't work out so well. There was definitely a disconnect in terms of knowing the information and then being able to convey it to these kids. I think that had the students been maybe a little older, it would have worked out. There was less of that conversational tone. It was very much authority and then subjects.
Yeah, and that's not really the best thing for this particular that's totally great for most well, for a lot of educational situations, but for like a 3-week, like you're doing this during your summer period or whatever, I don't personally think it should be quite so.
No, neither do I. And then anytime I wanted to interject and be like, hey, like this is kind of what she means, or let me elaborate on this a little bit, I was given the stink eye. And I was like, oh, and I took that as all right, yeah, you're right, okay. So I just kind of sat back down and played around on the iPhone, read a little bit, and just listened to what was happening. And again, I told the kids, all the questions you have, write them down, and I'll get to them later. But yeah, it took the whole time. It took the whole time.
You all had to work on the worksheets, though, right?
No.
Nope. Not at all?
Nope. And then I was able to go over the final case with them. And again, some of the things that I can impart on it's some information that the TA just doesn't know. Like for the final practice case in the table with all the alleles, some numbers were bracketed.
That was on the slide before it.
Explain that. Okay. It was explained? Mm-hmm. Well, one of my kids asked the question, why are they in the parentheses? And I was like, oh. I was like, okay, and I explained it. And I got to explain threshold and whether you would do stats on that stuff or not. And I think they understood it. So, and see, that's the thing. When you're a complete authority figure, like I think it's a little tougher to ask those kind of questions. Even if the information's already been put out there, and if you still don't understand, I think it's a little frightening for the kid to be like, I still don't get it. Yeah. Can you rephrase it? But we got through it. Hopefully they have a better understanding of it. They were a little rowdy tonight, apparently, in the evening session, so I'm going to have to discipline them and take away maybe Jeopardy. That's what I'm thinking. And I don't want to because I love Jeopardy. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see.
But it was good. It was a good day.
Yeah.
And we get to talk about the Zodiac Killer tomorrow. Woo!
It's going to be exciting.
And we're working with the cryptology class, so they'll have a good time tomorrow after their presentations. Webb and I have to give them constructive criticism on presentations tomorrow, which is supposed to be fun, and I hope they take it that way. I kind of prepped my class for it, but...
I will... I think when they're all there, I'll
And we can reiterate, too, once we get together as 2 classes.
Yeah. And we'll see how they take criticism, like your kids take criticism from me, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how the kids do it. Oh, I'd like to think that we're all pretty friendly with each other. Like I can come in, make a joke, or you can come in and say something, and I'm sure everything's great. They are aware that all the kids are aware that there are 2 classes.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. And we'll definitely report back tomorrow because tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
And that means...
Pizza! It means pizza! That's all it means.
And cheese pizza, specifically for you.
Specifically cheese pizza and no toppings because of the disappointment of last week.
I'm going to continue to be adventurous.
I'm not.
Because...
I can do it. I can't risk it.
I'm going to continue to be adventurous. Just like, look, I might as well have one bad experience after another because it'll culminate in this wonderful story.
Oh, we got to go out last night.
Oh!
Yeah. Since we didn't have to teach today, we actually got to go out. Because people go out, like, outside the campus to go, like, get a drink or dinner or whatever. And we haven't been able to go because we're busy all the time. So we got to go out last night.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a, like, American bar.
It's called Purple Haze.
Yeah.
And I immediately was like, what, the Hendrix song? You walk in, and there's literally, like, a giant poster of Hendrix, like, in the back. I was like...
Yeah,
okay.
And they were playing, like, music from the 90s.
Yeah.
With the videos.
And 80s. Like, everything
right.
from Van Halen to Linkin Park, and I think that's... it's a long period.
Yeah, it was very strange.
It was good. But, yeah, I mean, it was a good time.
The rickshaw ride home was not fun, but that's fine.
Like
I sat on a metal bar.
It's 4 people per rickshaw, and it's about yay big.
It's not a good time.
But again, all part of the story that's Duke, Tippett, in India.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it.
Yep. So this is Caitlin
and Webb.
And we're not saying goodbye.
We're just saying.
Forgot it.
This blog is worthless.